All right, so now let's take a look at our last video before you get time to work on homework. We're going to take a look at how you divide with 3 numbers and division with word problems. Okay, when we're dividing with 3 numbers, we need to keep 2 things in mind. First, we want to do 2 numbers at a time. I would add this to your notes. And the second thing to keep in mind, which is super important, is we have to go from left to right. Okay, that's really important here. Following the order of operations, which we'll talk about more next week, we have to go left to right. So we've got negative 40 divided by 10, and that's negative 4. And then we'll bring down this divided by negative 2. And negative 4 divided by negative 2 is a positive 2. All right, let's take a look at the second one. Negative 20 divided by negative 2 is a positive 10. And then we'll take that and divide by negative 5, which gives us a negative 2. Okay, so divide 2 numbers at a time and make sure you go left to right. All right, here is a story problem that asks us to, they tell us the temperatures during 1 week in January are listed below, and they tell us to find the mean, which is the same thing as the average temperature for that week. So how do you find the mean or the average of a set of numbers? You want to add them all up and then divide by how many numbers you have. So we need to add all these numbers up. We have to pay attention to our signs here too. So let's see. I'm going to start by adding my negatives. So I have negative 8 and negative 13 and negative 4 and negative 2. So 8, 13, 4, and 2. I get 27, and those are all negatives. Okay, so my negatives total up to 27, and then I've got 4 and 2, which is 6 positives. So now I can combine my positives and my negatives. So I have negative 27 plus 6, and I get negative 21. So what I just did there, guys, is I added up all these numbers, and I got negative 21. Okay, so that's the sum, and now we need to divide by how many numbers there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And notice I included my 0. That does matter. Okay, we have to count that in. Negative 21 divided by 7 is negative 3. So the average temperature that week was negative 3. All right, this one says you play a video game for 15 minutes. You lose 165 points. What integer, so what number, represents the average change in points per minute? Okay, so it's asking me to figure out how many points is this person losing every minute? Well, they lose a total of how many points? 165, right? And how do I say that you lose 165? If you said minus 165 or negative 165, you're correct. So it's the total points, and now it's 165 points lost in 15 minutes. So I'm going to do 165 points in 15 minutes. And when I divide this out here, I'll figure out how many points I lost in each minute. So I'm going to do 165 divided by 15. 15 goes into 16 once. Subtract, bring down my 5. 15 goes into 15 once. And we get 0. Okay, down at the bottom, so I know I'm done. Negative 165 divided by 15 is negative 11 because we had a negative divided by a positive. So what does that mean in terms of this problem? Well, if you're playing a video game, you lost 11 points per minute. And this is the integer that would represent that. An alligator population in a nature preserve in the Everglades decreases by 60 alligators over 5 years. And they want the mean yearly change in the alligator population. Okay, well remember, to get our mean, we have to add up the total of all the numbers that we would have had, and then we divide by how many numbers we added. Okay, so they're telling us already that it decreased by 60 alligators. Okay, so that's our negative 60. That tells us that over those 5 years, if they added up how many it decreased by, it totaled 60 losses, or 60, it decreased by 60. Okay, so that would represent the sum of those 5 years. Okay, and then if we divide it by the 5 years that this was going on, we'll figure out on average how much they lost per year. So we'll do negative 60 divided by 5, which we know is going to be a negative number. 5 goes into 60 once. 5 goes into 10 twice. And so we have our answer here of negative 12. If it lost 60 alligators over 5 years, that would be a loss of 12 alligators per year, which we'll represent with negative 12. All right, you're finished with the instructional video. Now you can work on your homework. Please refer back to these videos if you get stuck on anything, or ask me or your neighbors, and we'll help you out. All right, thanks for watching.